July is back again, and with it comes a heap of video games wanting your time. From the AAA to the free-to-play and the hidden gems along the way, I'll run you through them all. Thanks to Miju Games for sponsoring this video with their sci-fi survival game Planet Crafter. More on that very soon. I'm Adam, hello there, here's what July has in store for us. It's Nostalgia Month, as 3 games from over a decade ago are returning this July, starting with Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. First released in 2013, Black Flag was loved by so many gamers as it weaved the golden age of piracy with the story of the Assassin's Order versus the Templars, and now it's been rebuilt from the ground up. Of course the visuals are improved, but look closer and there's actually a lot more going on. First of all, the modern era stuff set in the current day has been totally removed from Resynced and replaced with more missions that look into the backstory of many of your shipmates, and more missions that delve into famous pirates like Blackbeard. Gameplay has been modernised to be more like the recent Assassin's Creed games, but without the RPG elements. So this means fights should be more tactical and less about mowing down countless guards with ease. There's also many quality of life improvements, like a dedicated creep button to crouch around in stealth missions. And speaking of stealth missions, we are no longer forced to restart if we are accidentally seen. We can instead switch to action immediately. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced drops on PS5, Xbox Series and PC on July 9th. That's not the end of the yesteryear games, as Halo, the Xbox exclusive, has returned, and this time it's on PS5 too. This may be an iconic moment as Sonic the Hedgehog coming to Nintendo. Time will tell. Halo is a renowned first-person shooter originally made by Bungie, who later brought us Destiny. Yet this time the remake is handled by Halo Studios, and the biggest note is that the competitive PvP multiplayer has been totally removed. Yet there is 4-player co-op online and couch co-op split screen. The campaign is a retelling of the 2001 game with updated visuals and modern gameplay tweaks, like a sprint button. It wasn't a thing back then. Many missions have been redesigned with a new structure to marry together the new movement and other new mechanics. The arsenal from the original game is all here, plus new weapons added and something called skull modifiers that change our gameplay from the serious to the totally ridiculous, like a weapon randomizer or suddenly the floor is lava. The hope is to bring Halo to a new audience, and Campaign Evolved is set to do that on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series and PC on July 28th. An unexpected game coming to PlayStation in July is another Xbox-owned property, Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2. First thing to note though is we have zero footage of this game as I'm writing this, so I'm using footage from the Xbox Series X version from YouTuber SkyCaptain5, and it's safe to say the PlayStation version will look exactly like this one. All we have is a tweet from Treyarch, which by the way is their most liked tweet of all time. Wow, we know for certain that this is not a remake, it's a very basic port of the PS3 games, so temper your expectations. You should also know that this does not include the DLC. Xbox are selling us all that separately, but both games do include campaign, multiplayer and zombies mode. Black Ops was amazing for its time and introduced us to a story starring Alex Mason looking into themes of brainwashing and memory manipulation. Black Ops 1 and 2 ports come to PS4 and PS5 this July. I'm trying to hold off posting this video until they announce a date. I'll put it in the comments as soon as we know. Have you seen Planet Crafter, a sci-fi survival game that sees us sent to a desolate planet with a single task: somehow make this place habitable for humanity? Thankfully, we are space engineers armed with terraforming tech and access to blueprints that can harness the sun's rays or gather the power of the wind. Planet Crafter is playable in solo or with up to 8 players online, working to survive, build shelters, gather resources, and ultimately marvel at your ability to turn a barren rock into a thriving ecosystem teeming with life. Planet Crafter is constantly updated, such as a third-person mode. There's new life forms and biomes, there's new rocket tech, and of course they added explosives too. Plus, teleportation is possible to get around your planet a little easier. And we can mix DNA to create entire new species of animal. Well, I think they're animals. Over on Steam, Planet Crafter already has over 36,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. Planet Crafter comes to console on July 21st. Click the link in the description to find out more. Usually at this point, I start a section on free games, and honestly, I thought I had an absolute beast for you this month in Mistfall Hunter. When I first started following this game, it was listed as free to play, but there's been a change and the devs are currently deciding whether to release as a premium product or continue with their free to play framework. While they decide, let me show you Mistfall Hunters. Set in this dark fantasy world, this is a multiplayer game that's an extraction shooter without the shooting. It's instead melee focused with all the usual weapons and good old dodge and parry mechanics of Dark Souls games. See it like a streamlined Elden Ring with PvPvE mechanics. It's quite unique. We essentially take gear into the realm and attempt to bring more loot home again and pray we don't meet a stronger foe. When we extract, we must defeat a boss character, which also lets other players know exactly where you are, and inevitably you're either working together to end the boss or preparing to get third-partied. Just like many of the extraction games that came before it, it's a total coin toss if this will be successful, but if the devs are this confident about moving from free-to-play to premium, they must have something which could be huge. Mistfall Hunter comes to PS5, Xbox Series and PC on July 30th. So, all the hype about GTA 6 keeps on building, and you may not know that GTA 5 is free on PS5 and Xbox Series. Well, kinda, there is a catch. Rockstar is finally trying to say goodbye to last-gen consoles, so if you own GTA 5 on PS4 or Xbox One, you'll get a free upgrade to PS5 and Xbox Series. This is digital only on Xbox, yet on PlayStation it includes the physical disc, so if you've ever grabbed a copy of GTA 4 on PS4 like over a decade ago, dust it off, and now you own GTA 5 on PS5, with all the visual upgrades, all the quality of life changes added over the years. And your character will come across to the new generation too without losing any progress, which is great because another update is coming to GTA 5 after years upon years of waiting. A new heist arrives in July. The Court Center heist will be filled with priceless artworks, and judging by what we know so far, you'll be counterfeiting and forging in a multi-stage heist, starting with infiltration and ending with an action-filled escape with your friends by your side. Jumping back into Los Santos one final time before we all move over to GTA 6 in November. It's perfect timing for the summer, and I can't wait. There are a few more free games that have arrived this month, but don't get your hopes up too high because they are quite low budget. Like this MMO, which came to PS5 last week, Spellfarers, centered around being a witch investigating the disappearance of a fellow magic wielder. The only evidence we have to follow is a mysterious spellbook left behind. This MMO is more of a cozy game in reality. It's a life sim. We essentially choose a house and start farming our land, planting crops and cooking meals while building our home and for some reason fishing. All these games always have fishing. Exploration does play a part, and as this is a magical place, weird things can happen like a budget Harry Potter movie, and it all links back to that magic spellbook. Spellfarers looks extremely janky to me, so maybe look for a review or two before jumping in with your friends. Spellfarer is out now on PS5 and PC. Another low budget game, in fact this one is 17 years old and it just came to PlayStation last month. Tanki Online. It's nothing mind-blowing. Tanki Online is a free-to-play MMO shooter with real-time PvP battles. We throw ourselves into a tank, jump onto the battlefield, and go shoulder to shoulder with other players around the world, mastering your skills, and essentially destroying every enemy tank you see. Upgrading and customizing your tank is the reason to come back, and there's different designs from across the globe. If my memory doesn't fail me, this was a browser game back in the day. And yup, it's now on PS4 and PS5 using backwards compatibility. Let's pivot back to priced games now and a $20 DLC for Doom the Dark Ages. Revelations drops on July 7th, and those on PS5 Pro will automatically get an update on the same day to improve the frame rate and the visuals, thanks to PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR, or PISA for short. But let's get back to the DLC. Revelations carries on the Slayer's journey of rage shredding through Hell's armies. This time we journey to the frozen hellscapes. The wow moment for me is the return of the meat hook. So now our flow will be more like the brilliance of Doom Eternal again. Also here are a bunch of new demons and some returning ones from yesteryear, including some more classic Doom to play through and relive the retro days. Doom the Dark Ages hits PS5, PC and Xbox Series on July 7th, priced around $20 US. A slightly less aggressive game now is Ratatan from the creators of Patapon. Ratatan is a rhythm roguelite action game that combines hitting the beat with your timing with side-scrolling action. Over 100 characters can simultaneously be on screen, and this isn't only a single-player experience. It has online co-op gameplay supporting 4 players. There was something seriously magical about Patapon when it released back in the day, and the original devs of that game want Ratatan to obtain the same vibe, but also grow the idea. Launching on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2 and PC on July 16th. Fans of 2D fighters and cabbages, keep your eye out for Avatar Legends on July 23rd. We play as the iconic cast of Benders, through the story mode reliving moments from the show, but also reshaping the fate of time and space in a new way. On top of that, we have an arcade mode that will tell side stories for other characters. There's also a training mode, casual and ranked matchmaking, and of course, local games are supported. There is a Switch version coming at some point, but the rest of us, we get this on July 23rd, and it looks like a competent fighter. Remember last month we looked at Denshattack, a game in which we play a train doing tricks that is like the evil love child of Tony Hawk and Jet Set Radio. Of course, as soon as I published the last video, that game was delayed. Well, now it's coming on July 15th, and it officially calls itself an extreme platforming game, coming to PS5, PC, Xbox Series and Switch 2. A ton of games you already own are adding a lot of free content this month, so let's do a speed round now. On July 28th, Spider-Man 2 will be getting a new suit for our Spider-Man. To celebrate the latest movie, Brand New Day, it's Tom Holland's latest threads dropping in-game at no extra cost. Meanwhile, Marathon, the extraction shooter that focuses on PvP action, is adding a dedicated PvE mode. Vault Breaker will ask players to fight through progressively challenging vaults in a roguelite style. This means there is zero threat from getting third party by a lurker and ruining all your fun. That drops on July 21st, and I really hope that does well. Over on Sea of Thieves, a new custom mode is coming to allow players to make their own maps, minigames, and adventures. Kinda like how Fortnite started adding user-generated content in the early days. And one more game is getting an update. Remember Palworld? About 2 years ago it took over the internet, and it's finally getting its 1.0 release. On July 10th, a huge update will bring more biomes, more explorable areas, and most importantly, more pals to catch. Sadly, the evolutions that were planned are not coming yet, as Nintendo continues to be ready to pounce with IP laws. But hey, more Palworld, can't be bad. Okie dokie, we made it through another month, which means I owe you terrible dad jokes. Like this one. What's the difference between a sock and a camera? One takes 5 toes, the other takes photos. I've been feeling quite lonely lately, so I started a new small business. Now I have a little company. My friends say I have beautiful inner ears. I've never seen them, to be honest, but I've heard good things. Okay, that's pretty good. Did you hear about the knight who always gave up in battle? They call him Surrender. Yeah, bad, isn't it? I'm Adam, you're awesome. Thanks to the awesome people at Planet Crafter for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check the link in the description. I'll see you next time. Ta-ta!